This is the Mazz and Bads Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.
Made it back for another week. The Pau Gasol episode getting underway. You know what it is. The Mazz and Bad Show. Of course, I'm your host, Brandon Mazz Marrazzo, joined as always my lovely co-host, Charlie Baduini. Whoa, my bad, Baduini.
It kind of sounds like a wine, Baduino.
Yeah, I mean, I bet it's a good one. You know, you got that Italian roots in you. You know, I'm sure you guys make good wine. We got a special guest in the building right now. The longest fan of any project that I think I've ever done, not including my parents. The one and only Billy Metzger.
What's going on? I'm excited to be here. Let's go.
Billy, appreciate you, man, over the years, whether it was college radio, other podcasts, this podcast. You've always been there, man. A true fan. We had to bring you on. Little background about Billy, Charlito. Former military. My man served in the Army. What was it, 5-6 years?
All right, 5.5 years, yeah.
5.5 years, you know. My man did a tour over in Afghanistan, came back home, you know. So, a true hero, my friend. That's a true hero.
That's sick as hell. Thanks, Billy.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
My man is also a lifelong Yankees, Knicks, Giants fan. All New York, all day.
All New York.
Unfortunately, we'll jump right into it. Saquon Barkley had a little bit of a homecoming. Could have broke his career yardage against the Giants. Billy, you were actually at the stadium. What was it like being there?
Oh, man,
toward the homecoming?
Yeah. I was there on my birthday, so it was...
happy belated birthday, by the way.
I appreciate that. Walking into the stadium after going back to what Mazz said about the Yankees, after... What was that, Saturday night going into Sunday, I was like, Daniel Jones can't hurt me today because I have Juan Soto in my life. And that was my biggest mindset going into that game. I knew it was going to go one way or the other. It wasn't going to be a close game at all. It was either going to be the Eagles were dominating or by some miracle the Giants were going to be dominating, which I knew wasn't a possibility. But I expected Saquon to get booed a lot. You know, I was involved in the boos. But, yeah, it was crazy. It was really bad. A lot of green and gold, or a lot of green and silver, and yeah, it was not a good time.
So
domination throughout the entire game.
Mazz, go ahead.
I saw a Saquon Barkley jersey. What was the best alteration of a jersey that you saw that day?
I saw there was a lot of people doing the Singletary tape name over Saquon, but one thing that caught my eye was he had to be an Eagles fan. He was wearing a backwards green Eagles hat with a red Giant Saquon jersey, and I was like, that guy's an Eagles fan, and he's absolutely doing that just to troll us. And I was like, that's genius. I was like, I like that idea.
That's pretty smart.
I was like, I give him credit there. He was definitely an Eagles fan, and I was like, yep, he's 100% doing that on purpose.
So I got two Giants questions for you, Billy. Giants-related questions. The first one has to do with Saquon. So where is your anger directed at as a fan?
So I did a lot of thinking over the last couple of days, and my anger definitely was directed at Saquon for a little bit, and then, I've come to the realization. I had a lot of conversations with Mazzo, and I think the reason a lot of Giants fans were booing Saquon wasn't because of himself as a person. It was to take our anger out on the fan or on the franchise itself. Just with how much of a dumpster fire we've been, we had a reason to get mad over Saquon leaving, even though it was definitely our fault. You know, he wanted to be here. We didn't give him a right deal and everything like that. And I think a lot of the boos and a lot of the hatred towards everybody was because they were trying to find a way to, just ignore the fact that our franchise is a dumpster fire.
So that was a big talking point on Sunday afternoon, especially as Saquon hit those milestones and was racking up the numbers. It was maybe the Giants fans should stop directing their anger at Saquon and start looking at upper management, at Joe Shane, at John Mara. Because in reality, yeah, like you said, Saquon wanted to stay a Giant. He didn't want to leave. He wanted to be a Giant for life. He wanted to stick with that same franchise for the rest of his career and ride it out. But unfortunately, the running back position right now in the NFL is in such a bad place that teams, no matter what level of player it is, and Saquon is a very high caliber player. He's one of the best running backs in football. For whatever reason, teams are like, we can find that production elsewhere. Which, not to say that the Giants haven't. I mean, Singletary before the injury was having a good season. Tyrone Tracy has been a great diamond in the rough that they found in the 5th round, but it's still not matching that production and that extra level of the offense that Saquon brought to you guys over the last few seasons.
I don't hate Saquon for leaving, and I don't hate the Giants for not re-signing him. I do think it should have been done differently, like Mazzo has told me in the past. Time after time, we should have traded that man, and I agree. We should have tried to get something out of him, but also we should have paid Saquon in 2022 or 2023, maybe tag Jones, and then go from there. Give Saquon that long-term extension. But with the current state now, I don't hate us for not paying Saquon because we had to put that money elsewhere. It's just an unfortunate situation all around.
I mean, Bill
But I think
Belichick.
a lot of the hatred was towards, not directly towards Saquon, but towards the actual fan base itself.
Right.
You don't see John Mara isn't walking on the field in the Giants jersey, because if he did, he would have got booed the hell out of. Joe Shane maybe the same way for, that specific reason. I think he's done a good job, but, I mean, if John Mara stepped foot on the field, he would have got booed just like Saquon did. So we had to look for a different outlet.
Bill Belichick obviously giving you guys some flack, saying that you went and paid, an offensive lineman instead of paying one of the best in the league. But that best in the league also went, I know it's a rival team, he also went home. He grew up in Bethlehem. He's a Pennsylvania kid, went to Penn State. I know he was born in the Bronx, but a big part of his childhood was spent growing up in that Pennsylvania area that is known for being Philly fans. So can you really be that mad for him going to the franchise?
You can't blame
going
him.
home?
You can't blame him at all. And the only reason everybody is mad is the fact that he went to a rival team. If I know Houston was big in the talks with trying to sign him. If he went there, I mean, the fans would have had no problem. They would have been like, "Congratulations, Saquon. Go get your money. Go do what you got to do." But because it's Philadelphia, you're not really looking at what he grew up with, and that he went to Penn State, pretty much grew up in Pennsylvania. You're looking at the fact that he said he wanted to be a Giant for life. He left to go to a rival, and we need to put our hatred towards something. So Saquon's the target.
Believe it or not, Saquon was actually a Jets fan growing up. His dad is still a
right.
massive fan. So
Really?
yeah, so just
right.
something to keep an eye out in the future.
That's interesting. Because I was gonna give it some slack. I can never blame somebody going, like, if they're gonna leave the team, going home, even if it's a rival, situation. I feel like I can give a pass for that. But I mean, if you just join just for the bag, I mean, then I understand why people get mad. However, if your team wasn't willing to pay that, you kind of got to give it some slack. But I'm pretty sure he signed for similar money you guys were offering, if I'm not mistaken.
I agree. It was probably a couple $1 million short of what they gave him. I think they definitely gave him, a little bit higher of a deal than what our target was, which is why, we're like, all right, we're gonna let him walk. But we had to. It is a lot of money for a running back, and unfortunately, the Giants have too many holes where they couldn't put all that money towards one place, which is why we had to let him walk and try to, get a guy on a lower end deal like Singletary, or take a running back in the 5th round like Tracy, and then try to, put that money elsewhere by building up the O-line, the D-line, and everything else.
Well, you still haven't built up the quarterback. Speaking of glaring holes, Charlie, I actually saw something today that I think you're going to love. Players with more passing touchdowns than Daniel Jones at MetLife Stadium since the start of last season, apparently. Top of the list, your good old friend Zach Wilson doesn't even play in the stadium anymore. Former backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Dak Prescott come twice a year, so we'll give that. Danny DeVito, third string over here. Jacoby Brissett, Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian. The list goes on and on. This is absolutely pitiful. Daniel Jones at home just ain't it. And I'm pretty sure Nico Hersher, I hope I said that right, over for the New Jersey Devils. And actually, I think I saw 16 NHL players have scored goals more recently than Daniel Jones has scored a touchdown in that pitiful stadium.
Anybody that played in that stadium series between those two games, I think it was 2 games over 2 days, right? Anybody that scored a goal or even just an assist, any kind of points, however the NHL does it, scored more points than Daniel Jones in MetLife Stadium since signing that contract. And it's brutal.
So
we're still sticking with it.
That's a great transition to my next question / point about Daniel Jones. So this guy has a injury guarantee in his contract for next season. If Daniel Jones goes down with any sort of injury, long term, his contract becomes fully guaranteed for next season. Is it
my biggest worry throughout this entire thing?
Considering the injuries to the offensive line with Andrew Thomas going down, is it time to sit Daniel Jones down, start playing Drew Lock and DeVito? Not just because of his play, because let's be real, Jones hasn't been the worst quarterback in football this year. Definitely not great, but he hasn't been the worst. But because of that,
year, he was doing okay.
Yeah, because of that injury guarantee, Is it time to sit him down?
I think it is time, and Dable is definitely seeming to get frustrated with him. And the reason, he said he didn't give a reason why he put Drew Lock in. Well, no, he did. He didn't say he wanted to give Danny a rest. He just said he wanted to try to change the energy and get a fresh face in there. And I think if Drew Lock came in, even through one touchdown, I think he had like 2 fumbles. I don't even know his passing stats, but I know it wasn't good. I think if he came in there and did okay, it would have been more of a reason like, okay, we're going to move off from Jones because Drew Lock gives us a spark. But because of how bad Drew Lock actually played in the fourth quarter, I feel like Dable kind of has to have his way forced to start Jones in the next weekend. Kind of just take it on a week-by-week basis.
I just don't understand what they're doing with Tommy DeVito, right? Like, that Drew Lock didn't look good. I'm not saying not to give him another shot, but there is a kid, granted he is a third stringer, who won games with this franchise with the exact same setup that the starter couldn't win. We know that the backup in Tyrod Taylor was able to win a game or two and looked pretty good before he went down with an injury. DeVito filling into the shoes, and he looked pretty decent. I don't understand why they're not looking more at this. You clearly take a page out of the Broncos book with what they did with Russell Wilson, who, by all means, we'll get to that, baby. Don't worry. But you take a page out of that book where it's just like, I'm pretty sure he had a game incentives for enough starts had he played the entire season. They looked at him. They said, we don't want to pay him. We don't even want him here. We're ready to go full rebuild. And you see Sean Payton ending up benching him. And the entire world was kind of, even if you hated the Broncos, was like, oh, dude, that's kind of slimy. However, that's how you get around these contracts. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying that's a capability. I think the Giants need to bench him.
It's the team
ASAP.
It's the team trying to protect themselves from being because obvious. Sorry, Billy. One second.
No,
obviously, the Giants don't intend to keep Daniel Jones after this season. I think that has been clear ever since the draft last year, where it was rumored they were trying to trade up for a Drake May or potentially even a Jaden Daniels, and they know that this isn't their guy long term. So why risk having to keep him an extra year than you actually want to, and try out some of these guys you have on the roster, and of course Drew Lock and who you saw last year a little bit, Tommy DeVito.
I think it's still too early. Like Charlie just said, they're trying to protect themselves. And I think it's still too early in the year. We're starting to get to that point where after seeing Jones got benched in the fourth quarter, we're going to be in that transition where it's going to be a week by week basis, and before Thanksgiving, Jones will be benched. And he came out and said that he was frustrated that he got benched and he doesn't understand why. And it's like, dude, look at your playing ability. That is the reason why you got benched. If you're frustrated, then you got the starting job for next week. Go out and prove that you should still be the starter of this team instead of just being like, oh, I'm frustrated, but nothing's gonna happen. So I was like, I don't even know why he made that comment. I mean, you have the right to be frustrated, but you gotta be more frustrated at yourself for your playing ability than the guy that's benching you.
I know why he's frustrated. He's putting up the same stats as Patty Mahomes, for crying out loud, and he's getting benched. Are you kidding me? I'd be furious. The only difference is the Chiefs are 6-0.
Mahomes is one of the greatest of all time. So, I mean, approaching that way. And Jones is going to be cut after this year, but he got it back.
It's going to be interesting. I definitely think some team's going to end up taking a shot with him, maybe at backup. It's going to be interesting to see where Daniel Jones.
He won't be out of the league. He won't be out of the league. He'll be a backup not. Somewhere.
Sure,
for sure.
I still think there's some tools that can be used. He's just one of those guys. He's not going to elevate your program. It just is what it is.
Well, Dable would be the guy that can unlock those abilities, but I mean, Jones. If Dable can't unlock those abilities, Jones is just a lost cause at that point. If Brian Dable can't do it.
So, Charlie, moving on here with it, of course. My Cowboys didn't play this week, but the Jets did, and that's the game that I want to go to next, baby. We had a pick'ems matchup. It was the deciding factor for the week. I'll give the spoiler alert right now. I currently am on another one game up on Charlito here with that Steelers pick. So, you thought the Jets were coming to Pittsburgh. What?
I was gonna text you this last night, but I wanted to ask you live on the pod. All right. Yeah. So last week, when we picked the Monday night games, we all picked the Chargers. Me, you, and Khalil, all three of us. Prior to the game last night, I bet on the Cardinals, and I will send you the slip.
Not happening.
Will you give it to me? Come on. It happened pregame.
No.
Happened pregame.
I'm not giving it to you.
Come on.
You could have had the courtesy to text me that you were going to do that, and you know I would have given it to you because I gave it to you last week, but you didn't hit me with the text, and I'm being a little stingy right now because I'm so happy about that Steelers pick. You're not taking it away from me. You're not bringing me down. You had the courtesy. I called you. I FaceTimed you in the middle of the Bucs game before that game even happened. You had all the time in the world to notify me. Get the hell out of here.
I was out and about. I wasn't home.
You texted me back. You could have texted me that you were going to do that, right? Where's the common courtesy? I know
All
I'm not
right.
your girlfriend, but you know what? I deserve respect too.
All right, fine. So you picked up another game on me. Whatever.
You know what the worst part was?
Huh.
I don't even know why I chose San Diego. I really should have took the... I watched one snap in that, and I went, I'm really feeling the Cardinals. I don't know why. I have no clue. I really think they're going to win this.
Because when we were doing the pick last week, we were like, oh, no James Conner, no Marvin
Yep.
Harrison.
But then James Conner played and Marvin Harrison played. I would have
Yeah.
absolutely went with the Arizona. So, do we both get that? Because I'll tell you right now, I'm a fantasy owner of both, so I believe in them more than you do, my friend.
All right, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Side tangent over.
Thank you. Anyway, let's head on over to Pittsburgh with it, right? New trade of star wide receiver Davante Adams. They go over to the Steel City to face the Steel Curtain defense because that's really the only thing that should be rocking for that team is the defense. And lo and behold, after two horrendous passes, Russell Wilson shakes off the rust and lights it up, baby. The passing game has never looked so good in the Steelers organization since Ben Roethlisberger in his prime. But I got to be honest with you, it still didn't look like fantastic, so I'm not necessarily believing in it. But it was good enough to get the job done and dominate Gangrene. How are you feeling about that one, Charlito?
Not great. Mathematically, the season isn't over, but the season's almost basically over. I mean, with your 2-5 from the Jets' perspective, you're 2-5. You with losses to the Steelers and the Broncos, who are going to be two wild card teams in the playoffs coming up. It's going to be really hard for the Jets to turn this around. And at this point, there's no one to blame except for just about everybody who's in an in-charge role at the Jets. You want to blame Woody Johnson? Blame Woody Johnson. You want to blame Joe Douglas? Blame Joe Douglas. You want to blame Aaron Rodgers? Blame Aaron Rodgers. It's a mess right now. They started out so good. Everything was looking real good until the first interception. And then the second interception happened. And then the entire team just fell off a cliff. Now, it didn't help that they went into the game down two starting corners. DJ Reed and Michael Carter II didn't play. And then they were just getting – and the injuries were piling on even in the game on the back end and the secondary. And it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And then there was the one drive at the end of the second half for the Steelers where George Pickens came down with an impossible circus catch. Me and my family are sitting there in the living room. My mom's like, why can't they stop that? And I'm like, me and my dad are like, Mom – You can't play defense against that. That's just football. That's just luck. You know what I mean? Like
at all.
Shout out Russell Wilson. Yeah, he had definitely had to shake off some rust to start the game, but then he was putting some touch on those balls that we haven't seen from him in a while. I don't even think we saw that in Denver. It's been like since the Seattle days we've seen that kind of play out of Russ, which of course makes sense because he's playing the goddamn Jets. But anyway, Najee Harris
going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Najee Harris ran all over us, which I thought was going to happen in the first place. I just thought maybe we would be able to put together enough offense to keep pace with the Steelers, who aren't exactly an offensive juggernaut. But yeah, thank goodness we traded for Davante Adams because that definitely helped to slow the run down. Definitely helped with the penalties. Definitely helped with dropping balls and interceptions. Like, come on, man. It's bleak. The Jets are just... This is a very bad place to be if you're a football team.
Two things. First off, I could actually pinpoint where, even before the interception, where I knew that this wasn't going to go the way that Jets fans wanted it to. It was that first pass to Davante Adams, although it was a little bit out, it hit him right in the hands, and he dropped it. And I went, oh boy, the golden boy has made his first mistake, and it is all going to come crumbling after this, right? And then I also have another epiphany. I think Justin Fields still has a place in this team, and it needs to be in the red zone. I did not like the limited options that Russ had necessarily. He could still use his feet just a little bit just to scramble around. But you don't really want to see him taken off. He doesn't have that. I think Justin Fields used in a play action role down in that red zone. Look, if something's wide open, fire it. If it's not wide open, you take off with that athletic ability and you get in the end zone, my friend. I would like to see them go dual quarterback. I know that's kind of crazy. I think Russ should be getting about 80 to 85% of the snaps, but I think Justin Fields has so much unlocked potential and can be utilized in places where they struggle, like the red zone. As we know that they barely found the end zone the entire year, it feels like. Won a game off of complete field goals when they went against Atlanta, So I think Justin Fields being implemented in the right situation can build up his experience and help this team win while getting the most out of Russ as well. How do you feel about this, Charlie?
Go to Billy. I got nothing for you.
I agree. I like the two quarterback system. I mean, it's not something that's really used. We don't see that at all. But I think that Pittsburgh has a good opportunity to actually take advantage of that. I think you guys mentioned on the podcast last week, like using Justin Fields against teams that are not good against the run, and using Russell Wilson against teams that aren't good in the pass, and even just mixing it up like you just said in game where you have more ability because Justin Fields can pass. He's not Russell Wilson obviously better than Fields at passing, but I think Fields needs to be used in the red zone because he gives you that ability where he can make a quick pass, he can make a little short pass, but he can also take off with his legs when he needs to, where Russ is limited in that area. And I mean, if you can't do any of that, then you got Najee Harris. Just hand the ball back to him if Russell or if Fields can't do anything in the red zone.
I don't hate it. I know Charlie's not going to give comment on it because he's still having flashbacks of that beatdown, but
I'm reading the box score right now. It's just making me angry. Devontae Adams, 9 targets, 3 catches for 30 yards. Like, really? We gave up a second-round pick for this guy? Well, third-round pick, that could be a second, whatever. Allen Lazard had a better game than him. Come on, man.
I was personally disappointed by it, too, as having Devontae Adams on my fantasy team. I was like, okay, you know what? This is gonna be good for my team. We need something here. Let's see what it can happen. And I was just as disappointed as you were in that game with Devontae Adams and that whole offense.
And on the opposing side, you go and look at what the Bills did with Amari Cooper. His day, 5 targets, 4 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown.
I mean, that's relatively close to what Devontae had. I mean, 30 more yards and then the touchdown, but, I don't know.
He only dropped 1 pass.
Well, Keon Coleman was the real star for that game.
Oh,
Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, 100%. But the fact of the matter is this, is that you guys both had a chance to go out and get one of these guys. And I think you guys got the wrong one personally. I think Amari Cooper is going to shine in this Bills
After one
offense.
game, you're ready to say that?
Yeah, I think I am. One looks a lot more comfortable. And you know what? The Tennessee Titans, you can talk smack about their record, but they were number 1 in pass defense and number 1 in the rush defense coming into this week.
And the Jets beat them too. What's your point?
I mean, I'm just saying. I just think that Amari Cooper is going to be the key to take the Bills to the next level. I don't think Devontae Adams is the key to go to the next level for the Jets. I think there's deeper problems.
So you could say to me with a straight face right now that the Bills would rather have Amari Cooper over Devontae Adams right now.
No. I'm saying that Amari Cooper was the one move to fix the Bills into the next level.
Okay, sure.
I'm saying
Sure.
you guys made a move that kept you at the same level.
Yeah, sure. Okay, but say to me with a straight face right now that
Yeah.
you would rather have Amari Cooper on your football team than Devontae Adams.
Well, he's a year younger.
Mazz.
He's a year younger.
Mazz, say it with a straight face.
Put up.
Say it with please, Mazz, say it with a straight face.
1,000-yard years in Cleveland.
You're dodging my question, man. You're dodging the question. Say it with a straight face.
If it was the Dallas Cowboys, I'd rather have Amari Cooper.
Okay, all right. Billy, Mazz's opinion has now been washed out for the rest of the episode because he's lying to my face right now just to get a rise out of me. Billy, if you're an NFL GM, would you rather have Devontae Adams or Amari Cooper?
I really think it's situational. I mean, because Amari Cooper, we've seen him have success with. I really do. I really think it's situational. I think the two guys are comparable, but I think the Jets. I mean, I wouldn't say they made the right move, but obviously, between the two, I think Devontae Adams is better for the Jets just because of his connection with Rodgers, and Amari Cooper will fit better with the Bills. But the Jets just have more problems that Devontae Adams isn't going to fix. The Bills bringing in Amari Cooper, I mean, that was their biggest need at wide receiver, and they got the guy. And the Jets just have more problems than just getting Devontae Adams.
How many All Pros does Amari Cooper have?
How many times he played with Aaron Rodgers in his prime? 4-time MVP, 1-time Super Bowl MVP,
All
and
right.
champion.
How many times did Devontae Adams play with Dak Prescott in his career, Mazz?
Whoa, Dak was a young pup. All right, he was still getting better.
Pup.
Dak wasn't putting up MVP numbers that year.
This is a disingenuous conversation that is only built to get a rise out of me, and I'm moving on because I'm done with this.
Are you fighting back against the establishment right now?
I am fighting back against the establishment.
Are you
Mazz.
rising against the machine?
If you're the machine, I'm rising against you right now.
I've been told I look like Burt Kreischer, so I am the machine.
A little bit of both, Burt and Tom Segura.
If they had a love child, that'd be Mazz.
I mean, I've seen those stand-up specials. Yeah, it's roughly about the same sense of humor.
If you sat in on their podcast, they would think that you were their kid.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? I mean, you guys all can't look as good as me, but, speaking of not looking good, good Lord, the 49ers end up losing against the Chiefs 28-18, and they are injury plagued. I feel like this was the week where we've seen the most injuries. It happens every year. It feels like it has finally come, and it ends up being week 7. Teams getting decimated. I know last night, also in that Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, in garbage time, it looked like Chris Godwin's season might be over. I don't know what the hell Todd Bowles is doing, but right now, the Buccaneers going down to the Ravens, losing Chris Godwin. 49ers losing to the Chiefs and losing a plethora of people. CMC's still not back. Where are you guys now with these teams that everybody was so high on to be competing for this year? Some things have to change in terms of believability, I believe. Who do you have more faith in, and where do their seasons go from here, Charlie?
Between San Fran and Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an easy San Francisco. Only just because they have the track record of success. I mean, and yeah, they just lost Ayuk to the season, but I still think they're going to get enough pieces back where they're going to be able to make a push for the playoffs. Christian McCaffrey is supposed to be back by mid-November, I believe, is the current timeline. They still got Deebo Samuel, Ricky Pearsall is there, Juwan Jennings has had a great season so far for them. So the Ayuk injury, while a big deal for them, I don't think it's season-ending.
Even just looking at the coaching, you give me Shanahan over Todd Bowles.
100%. And then as for the Bucs, it's looking a little bleak in the receiver position right now because Godwin's season is over. He fractured his ankle last night. And Mike Evans with the hamstring, I mean, hamstrings are probably one of the more tricky injuries in football just because of how it can linger, how it can flare back up. I mean, who knows how long Evans is going to be out, but yeah, it's looking like it's going to be the Sterling Shepard show in Tampa Bay for the time being with both of those guys out. So I'm gonna go on with the San Francisco is going to be just fine. Tampa Bay, they're still tied with Atlanta for the division lead, but they're going to be treading water for a little bit here.
They need to go trade for DeAndre Hopkins right now. They need the wide receiver help. They need a veteran. I'm not saying that he's going to be putting up Mike Evans numbers in Tampa, but we know that guys tend to age well down there. The heat's a little good for them. They need all the help in the passing game they could get. That's legitimately the only wide receiver that comes to mind that is still available that I think can have an immediate impact on a team right this second. Granted, it might not be, Amari Cooper right off the bat. It might not be Devontae Adams for the long haul. But I think it's something that can be effective and get their season a little bit stable.
I really can't even think of any other wide receivers that might be available now. I mean, the Giants have Darius Slayton, but, they'll be lucky to get maybe a 5th-round pick for him just with how inconsistent he is. He's a big guy, but he has the inconsistency with drops, and he's on an expiring contract. Really don't know any other wide receivers that might be available at the deadline since Devontae Adams and Cooper are off the board.
The only other one I could really think of is Deontay Johnson. I don't think they're going to trade it to Tampa Bay, so you can just scratch that right off the list. Maybe you think about T. Higgins, but I think the Bengals are going to go out and make a final push right now with the gang still together, so I don't see that happening. Other than that, I mean, it is literally where do you go from here?
Tampa has, what's his name, Jalen McMillan, I think the rookie, that saw an increase of targets with Mike Evans going down early in yesterday's game. Probably look for him more often. They're going to rely on the tight end with Kate Cotton, and then their 3 running backs that they have is what's going to be that offense. But other than that, it is looking very rough.
Yeah, no, listen, they got to get the season going around. We'll see what happens. But speaking of season going around, I'm going to jump us over to our Midwest North matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. What a game, gentlemen. Decided by 2 points, 31-29. Charlie, you were right. Detroit does enough to get the win. Thoughts on it?
I thought Sam Darnold regressed a little bit in this game, and I think that's what eventually cost the Vikings down the road. I'm looking for the box score right now. My bad.
22 of 27 right now, 259 yards, one
Yeah.
touchdown, one interception, 4 sacks.
So I think that's the difference right there. Is Jared Goff played a damn near perfect game. I mean, 140 passer rating, and then Sam Darnold's one interception. That's what it came. It was one possession. That's what it came down to. The Vikings needed that last possession to either win this game or at least send it to overtime, and they came up short. Jahmyr Gibbs had a fantastic day. Montgomery missed really a big chunk of that first half with the knee injury. He did eventually come back, but wasn't as effective as Gibbs was running the ball. And Lions, number 1 team in the NFC right now, if you were to ask me.
Any chance that you got Jared Goff heading towards your MVP top of the list the way he's been playing these last couple of weeks?
Lamar.
Yep.
It's Lamar right now.
Yeah. No, I think it
he's
has to
definitely
be.
up there in conversation.
Yeah, if you're the best quarterbacks in football right now, Jared Goff's got to be up there. Josh Allen and Lamar, I think that's probably your top 3.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lamar had 5 passing touchdowns and I believe 1 rushing.
I think just the 5 passing last night.
I know he had a rushing touchdown.
He did.
Did he not get into the end zone, or did that? Oh no, they called it back on a hold. That's right. They hit that quarterback power to the right side, and there was a holding call, so it got brought back on him. My bad. But no, just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I can't take it away from Lamar this year. I'll take it away last year any day of the week because Dak did enough, damn it. But Lamar Jackson is quite literally dominating teams.
5 passing touchdowns and 5 incompletions is crazy for Lamar Jackson.
Charlie, I can't even argue it. I mean, there's just nothing. This guy's just too good.
Yeah, if you're asking me the MVP ladder right now, it goes Lamar, Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, and then probably Goff.
Okay, I don't hate it, honestly. It's just an interesting week, man. How things are starting to shape up. I can't wait for next week. I feel like this week just went by way too fast, but teams got some serious work to do. And interesting. I know Tua's supposed to be making his return this week coming up.
Correct.
Fellas, I'm a little nervous about that. I think they're rushing him. I think he's rushing himself personally, but
look, man, if the guy says he can play, he can play. I mean, no one's going to step in and try and protect him or save him. If this is what he wants to do, let him do it. I mean, you know
I
what I
think
mean?
people have already tried to step in and protect him. You know, McDaniels, even when he had the injury, he said, think about your family and everything like that. And people have asked him, are you going to wear the Guardian helmet? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? And he said, nope, I'm going to play football. So that's where his mindset's at, and that's what's going to happen for him.
I feel like you at least got to wear the Guardian helmet, right? I know it looks silly, but like, dude, we are talking about scrambled eggs here, right? The guy's had his bell rung, not just a concussion, completely rung multiple times now. 3 major hits where even the hit might not have even looked that bad, but the result of it, you knew right on the spot that is going to need medical attention. All right, I'm not a doctor, and you could literally deduce that. I can't even imagine what a doctor was seeing when they've seen that footage, or if they were in person watching it, being with the teams. But nonetheless, I mean, I got to tell you, man, Tua got grapefruit, man, bro. All right, that's it. He got grapefruit because the fact of the matter is, anytime, any place, get out of my way. Absolute warrior, and I gotta respect that, but somebody please save this man from himself. Please. I don't think you gotta at least make him wear the Guardian cap, guys.
No one can save him, but he might be able to save the Dolphins.
He might. I hope so, because, Jalen Waddle's been not doing nothing for me for my fantasy, and I really need that in my life right now.
Question about the Dolphins. Do you think that Tua coming back is... I mean, he wants to come back, obviously, but do you think it's going to help Mike McDaniel save his job, and do you think Mike McDaniels is on the hot seat, given the fact that they haven't been able to do anything without Tua, and just even everybody else on the offense just hasn't been able to get going?
Well, I think definitely he definitely is helping save the Dolphins season. Mike McDaniel's job is definitely in jeopardy. I don't know if he's in the hot seat just yet, just because of the success they have had in the past 3 seasons with him as the head coach. I know they don't have a lot of playoff success. What's up?
You cut out completely.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it started coming back at the end.
We good now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't mind.
Okay. So, shit, now I just lost my train of thought.
Mike McDaniels you were talking about?
Mike McDaniel. Tua coming back. So, Tua being gone and the offense being that bad, I think is less of a testament to Tua and more of a testament that they didn't have any other NFL-ready quarterbacks on the roster. Tyler Huntley, we can talk about he's got the 1 Pro Bowl appearance. He was only voted in just because Lamar was hurt that year. Tim Boyle, I can tell you from personal experience, not an NFL quarterback. Trust me, saw plenty of his games last year. I don't even know how he's still in the league, man. The tape he has, he's got dirt on somebody in the league, somebody somewhere. It's got to be the only explanation as to why he's in the league. But yeah, this is exactly what happened to the Jets last year. I mean, not to say that Zach Wilson isn't like an NFL quarterback or Trevor Siemian. It's just when you have a veteran quarterback on your team who is either older or has injury concerns, you have to make sure you have a good plan B backup option. I guarantee you after this season, the Dolphins will be bringing in a veteran backup. They will be bringing in a Gardner Minshew, a Marcus Mariota, a Tyrod Taylor potentially if he ends up walking from the Jets. All it takes is one injury like what happened to Tua, and you're in the tank for five games, which is exactly what the Dolphins have been. They have been arguably the worst offensive team in football since Tua went down. So Tua coming back, yeah, it's big for the Dolphins because it's going to turn their season around. They'd play a lot better when he's in that quarterback. Tyreek's going to be balling out. I'm sure Waddle is going to help the run game. But I don't think Mike McDaniel's job was ever in jeopardy in the first place. I don't think the Dolphins have had this kind of an innovative coach in a really long time.
No,
yeah.
I agree.
I don't see the hot seat coming forward just because it clearly is a management issue, As Charlie just said, the quarterback play just has not been there, and they have options. There's guys like Ryan Tannehill, who's played in that city, has had some success with it, Why are you not bringing him in? Instead, you're taking shots on guys that just aren't it. And I'm sorry, we know that they're not it because look at the plethora of talent. You have a solid running back room, a really great running back room, arguably the best wide receiver room in the NFL, right? Definitely top 5. And they were able to do nothing with it. A scheme guru like McDaniel there, and nothing, no success whatsoever. That's not a testament to this offense. That's not a testament to the skill positions that you have. That's a testament to how bad your quarterback room has been built, and you put way too much faith in a starting quarterback with an injury history to not back him up with better talent.
Couldn't agree more, honestly.
Yeah.
So, Charlie, where you want to take us, buddy?
Honestly, Mazz, that's kind of the last of the Week 7 games I wanted to get on. Everything else was kind of mundane, I thought. I mean, Packers-Texans was a good game, but, I mean, that was going to be a shootout from the get-go with those 2 young gunslingers. Everything else, meh.
I just wanted to check on it again. Jordan Love, another Brett Favre performance. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 220 yards, 24-33. I mean, this is getting eerily similar, bro. But hey, it's working out.
Yeah, and they're winning games. I mean, if Jordan Love stops turning the ball over, I think the Packers might have a chance to win this division. Let's be real. I mean, their offense is as explosive as any in the league. Their defense creates turnovers out of thin air. Packers they're going to be a dangerous team going forward, and I doubt anybody's going to want to see them come playoff time if they end up making it that far. I mean, they were able to upset the Cowboys last year. I'm sure they could do that to somebody else if they don't happen to win that division.
No, absolutely. But C.J. Stroud, bro, 10-21, didn't even break 100 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. They got to get that passing game going. I know that there's been a little injury going on there, but you have 2 out of 3 wide receivers that are available pretty much week in and week out. And I'm still disappointed by this Houston team, bro. I think they should be so much better than what it is. Joe Mixon's been doing a nice job coming back. I was having a great year before he went down for a little bit. But stock on Houston, where's it going for you, Charlie?
I'm not worried about Houston all that much. I mean, 5-2, they definitely have a cushion that they can lean on where if they need to start figuring some things out, they have a game or two that they can not spare to lose, but just they have a nice cushion there. Nico Collins being out definitely doesn't help Stroud's case. Tank Dell has been a bit of a disappointment in year 2, as explosive as his rookie season was. Ever since the injury, he just has not looked like the same player. And Stephon Diggs, I think we kind of all knew from last year in Buffalo, his physical skills are starting to decline a little bit. Where the Texans were so smart to do this offseason was to finally bring in and establish a run game, which is something that they didn't have last year, where Stroud was going to be throwing the ball 30, 40 times a game every week on a weekly basis. Now that you have Joe Mixon, you can lean on him a little bit. I think they just got to give it some time. Stroud going through a little bit of a sophomore slump right now, but I'm not worried about the Texans. No.
We haven't really seen him go through a slump like this, so I think it's going to be good for him long term to see how he bounces out of this slump and gets him trending in the right direction. Obviously, when Nico Collins comes back, it's going to help his game out a little bit, but at least they, like you just said, they have that running game to rely on when things aren't going good. Because they only lost by 2 points, and Stroud was the last second field goal or something like that they lost.
Yep.
Stroud only threw for 86 yards, so that just shows that the running game has been stronger this year than it has in the past, and has been, or it was in last year. And Tank Dell, he didn't do anything in this game. He had 4 targets, didn't get any kind of receptions, didn't get anything going. So I think they just need a little bit more time to get that passing game going, but at least they have that safety blanket with the running game that they can continue to move forward with when things don't go well in the passing game.
All right, Charlie, that's everything from me from week 7. As you said, not the most exciting week. Some big impact, though, with the injuries. Going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I believe that brings us to Pick'ems. Gentlemen, Charlie, take it away.
All right, so Thursday night we got a pretty good game. We have the Master versus the Apprentice. Kevin O'Connell, former Rams offensive coordinator, comes back to Los Angeles to face Sean McVay and the Rams. Vikings coming off their first loss of the season against the Rams, and I don't see them losing 2 in a row, guys.
Yeah, I don't see the Vikings losing 2 in a row at all, especially the way that they just went down. However, I'm pretty sure the Rams didn't have – yes, they did. Thank you. The Raiders, and that was a tight one, too. I just think that the Vikings' entire roster is just so much better. I thought that they were going to have the extra week to prepare. You always got to account for that. But even with the extra week, I just think that these rosters are just in 2 different places right now. And I think that the Vikings are going to be riding high. I think they definitely are going to be making a push for the NFC now, with Tampa potentially taking a step back with their 2 top wide receivers being one out for the season and one banged up. Vikings all day.
Yeah, give me the Vikings. The Rams are going to be getting Cooper Kupp back, I believe. They tried to get him to push back last week. I think they held him out. I think it was a game-time decision. They ended up holding him out, but they're still too banked up everywhere. And the Vikings, like you said, they're going to be looking for a big bounce-back week, and I think they're going to get it here.
So
good color matchup, though, for this week.
Yeah, right. But, guys, do we see a shootout here, or is it more one-sided than that?
With Thursday Night Football, there's no telling.
I think we can see a shootout, right? I like the Vikings defense a lot more than I like the Rams defense right now, but nonetheless, it is Thursday night. It is a short week, and you have 2 quarterbacks that are willing and able to let that thing fly. And one thing's for sure, 2 things for certain, 1 thing's for certain, 2 things for sure, right? That a man who is trying to claw himself into the Hall of Fame, if he goes down, he's gonna go out guns a-blazing.
So we're all rocking with Minnesota on Thursday night. Getting over to the 1 o'clock slate on Sunday afternoon. We have Tennessee at Detroit. Lions coming off, of course, that Vikings win. Titans, I believe they only have 1 win on the season. Am I correct there?
1-5 to 5-1, complete flip-flop of records right now, and it's going to continue to be a flip-flop, my friend. If anybody takes the Titans, they got to be the biggest Titan fan in the world, and a little Delulu.
Detroit's winning this game. It's just a matter of how much. The line's been shifting already. I think it was at 10.5 this morning when I was
minus 11 right now.
I'm seeing 11. So it's only going up. When I looked at that line, I was like, I don't know how this isn't like 17. So maybe it's definitely trending in that way.
I think this is going to be a trap game though for betting the spread.
I was looking at a lot of games. I think there could be a lot of games.
Dude, their defense is not that. They're not bad. They're towards the top in both rushing and defense. Just that offense is absolutely abysmal. They need to retool it. They need to just get things going, and that's why I absolutely think they need to get DeAndre Hopkins the hell up out of there so that he can still do something with his career and just go hit the full rebuild. Do not hang on for too long with what you did with Derrick Henry. You can't afford to let guys walk out and not get any compensation when you've been this dysfunctional as a franchise. Thank you.
All right, I don't think we'll get any more splits on this one, but I guess that remains to be seen going forward. But Green Bay at Jacksonville. Packers 5-2 heading down to Jacksonville, who is coming off a 2-week stretch in England. I'm sure that they'll be happy to be back in the States, but Green Bay just too hot of a team for me right now. Offensively, they're playing too good. Defensively, they're going to create some turnovers against this Jacksonville team. I'm rocking Green Bay.
Are you kidding me? After what Trevor Lawrence just did last week? Are you serious? My man had adversity in a different time zone, a different country, different culture. Gets the job done. 15 or 20, 193 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and it's absolutely going nowhere. What else is new, baby? I cannot believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars are turning out to be this bad. Good for them getting the advantage over the Patriots, but this is going to be an absolute beatdown like you've never seen. Somebody should just get the towel early and implement the running clock because it's coming out. They don't stand a chance in this game. I'm sorry.
It's only a matter of time before one more, a couple more losses, and Doug Peterson is out the door. Whether they do decide to cut him midseason or they hold on to him to the end of the year, I don't know what that case may be, but I mean it's only a matter of time.
It needs to be the end of the year, so this way the Cowboys have a fair shake at getting Bill Belichick, okay? It needs to be the end of the year.
So I'm picking Green Bay as well, like I mentioned. When it comes to Green Bay, though, I could see them losing any given week just because Jordan Love could have like a 4-interception game or something like that. You know what I mean? Like any given week, he could just totally for example, last week that touchdown he threw to Tucker Kraft in the end zone that slipped through the Houston defender's hands. Some weeks the DB is going to catch that. You know what I mean? So I could see the Packers getting upset. I'm not going to pick that, but I'm just saying I could see the Packers dropping an easy one here and there to some lower level competition.
I absolutely agree with that. I'm going with the Packers.
Yeah, for sure.
See them losing this game. Whether it's going to be a blowout, whether it's going to be sloppy, they're going to find a way to win, and I just don't see Jacksonville getting this job done.
Blowout.
All right, we'll see. AFC South matchup, Indianapolis Colts at Houston Texans. I believe these teams already played this season, and the Texans won. So Houston could really put a stamp on this division with sweeping Indianapolis, who is in second place right now. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think Houston's going to win this one, especially coming off that loss to Green Bay. That one's got a sting. They'll be playing pissed, playing hungry. Give me Houston.
Yeah, there's no reason not to take Houston. They already got the job done once. After this last loss, they got to come out with some fire. They absolutely need to lock up the division right now. I don't see no reason for them not to just go all in, chips in the middle of the table.
Colts had Joe Flacco. Maybe could go a little bit differently, but Anthony Richardson's still working back his way. He didn't look great against Miami, so I think it could be a close game. Being a division game and everything like that. But yeah, give me Houston.
I do gotta show some respect to the Colts, who they're sticking with Anthony Richardson through thick and thin right now. I mean, he has not played well this season. He still has not. He's very raw, very unpolished, and they're not trying to make him something he's not. They're doing what he can do. They're tailoring the offense to his strengths with the QB runs and the deep balls, and they're just trying to let him string together a few good plays here and there. Doing their best not to shake his confidence. I think he's still got some things to work through, but I think the Colts are really a great organization for fostering some young quarterbacks here right now, because I think what they're doing with Anthony Richardson, other teams should take note.
Well, I think they know exactly where their state of their roster is in, and some GMs and front offices, tend to fall in love with what they build more, and they tend to look at it. When you look at your own child and it's hard to see the flaws, but somebody else can point it out, and you're like, get out of here. How dare you disrespect my baby like that? Well, this is literally it. They looked around, they went, yes, we have Joe Flacco, who's an experienced quarterback, who's won a Super Bowl, but we don't have the roster to go compete right now like that. We can compete for games. We're not competing for championships. We need to be building for the future, and the more touches that this kid can get, the more that we can foster him. As you said, it's going to work for the long run. They're playing the long game, and kudos to the Colts.
All right, sticking with the...
I think he still has the ability. My bad, I was just going to give credit to Shane Steichen. I still think he has the ability to, develop Anthony Richardson into the player that he can be. So I think it's just going to take more time. He's obviously had the injury problems, but I still think he can get to, can keep going up or improving his skill set with Shane Steichen as his coach.
Yeah, great point, Billy. I mean, Steichen's got that track record. He developed Herbert. Jalen Hurts, I think he's attributed to that as well, and he was in Philadelphia. And now his next project, Anthony Richardson. So another divisional matchup up next. Baltimore going to Cleveland. Cleveland probably going to be starting Jameis Winston post the Deshaun Watson Achilles injury. They did sign Desmond Ridder off the excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, he went to Las Vegas.
They signed Bailey Zappi off the Chiefs practice squad. That's the new QB they just brought in. So, but yeah, it most likely will be the Jameis Winston show. Baltimore blowout.
Stop everything. They got their guy. Bailey Zappi's in town. What the hell are we doing? First off, that's one thing that we forgot to mention from last week. Deshaun Watson going down. For the year, it looks like, I believe, torn Achilles.
Yep.
They were literally chanting, "You deserve it." How despicable of people do you have to be? I know it's a bad guy. I know he's done nothing for the organization, but you could have benched him at any point. It's not his fault that he's out there every week. You could have been playing Jameis Winston. And to cheer for an injury, people, what the hell are we doing? Have we lost all sense of community? Have we lost all sense of just being decent human beings? Just because he's got, allegations and he's a bad guy doesn't mean that we got to be bad too, all right? And I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not sitting here advocating for Deshaun Watson, but to sit there and cheer for another guy getting hurt like that, I mean, bruh, what are we doing? I just didn't like that. I thought the Cleveland was classier than that. I just didn't like it. I'm sorry. However, like I said, you got Jameis Winston. Go start him. At least get some excitement. You're not going to win, but you're going to get 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. Let's roll the dice, baby. Why not?
They weren't even playing him until they had to because they had DTR come in the game after Watson had the Achilles injury, and they had Jameis listed as the emergency third-string quarterback. And then I forgot what his injury was, but DTR went down, and then they had to put Jameis in. So I don't know why they were kind of refusing to put Jameis in until he actually needed to play, but I think he should have been playing a couple weeks ago to give that team some kind of spark and give the fan base something to get excited about. Because who can't get excited about Jameis Winston?
It must have been something in practice they were seeing with Jameis and DTR. I mean, there's no other reason. What other reason would he be elevated?
They're tanking. They finally can go, we can lose games on purpose. There's no point of playing him. We need to lose more games. We need to go get the number 1 overall pick, and then we need to waste it on another quarterback that's not going to freaking work out.
Well, here's the problem for Cleveland, and this is why Deshaun Watson didn't get benched and why he was still the starting quarterback even after his abysmal play, is he is owed $73 million over the next 2 seasons to the Cleveland Browns, not counting this year. For the next 2 years, in 2025, he's owed $72 million. In 2026, he is owed $72 million. That's why he wasn't benched. Because you're stuck with him. You're stuck with him. Like, he is the quarterback for the Browns. He's going to be on the roster next year. Even if they get the first overall pick, Deshaun Watson will be on the roster next year. There's nothing they can do about it.
Eat it.
It would literally be the biggest dead cap hit in NFL history.
Why not?
Broncos found a way to do it. The Browns gotta find a way to do it.
Why not?
So
the 0-16 season.
The Russ cap hit was 25% of the salary cap. The Deshaun Watson dead cap hit would be like a third, like 35-40%.
Save the locker room, man. That's it. That's all you got. You 0-16 season, countless first overall picks wasted. Why not? Could it get any worse, for crying out loud? I mean, why not? Who cares? It's a little money. Big whoop.
Because you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. You can't.
I know.
Okay.
They shot himself in the foot the second they traded for the guy, for crying out loud. Are you
All right.
kidding me?
Okay, so regardless, we're all in Baltimore here, right? No
It's not
one's
even a
picking
question.
Cleveland.
Put down on my bingo card, though, Jameis Winston if he starts, 2 touchdowns, 3 to 4 interceptions.
I believe it. All right, interconference play between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cincinnati Bengals. Guys, I think I'm rocking with the Bengals here. Philadelphia has not impressed me all that much over the last few games. I mean, they're winning, but they're not dominating and winning in a I'm trying to think. Like even last year when they were on their hot streak run, they were blowing teams out. Right now, there's still something not right with them. I'm going with Cincinnati, who is riding the hot hand right now and stringing together some wins that they desperately need.
I don't hate the take. I just I am thinking that run game might just be a little bit too much to handle. I mean, Saquon coming off the high. I mean, he's clearly there for the team. He chose not to get his career high in yards. I saw that nice little conversation. Honestly, Nick Sirianni, is it Nick Sirianni?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Nick Sirianni won me back a little bit. I like that exchange. You know, that's something that I like seeing. And that just goes to show the kind of guy that Saquon is. Just like, I don't need to rub it in. I already did everything that I need to prove. Let's go and prepare for next week. And you know what, Charlie? Why not? Give me the Eagles. I think that run game is going to be too much to handle. Let's see what happens with it, and let's shake things up. I mean, I got, 7 games right now? I'll throw one away on you, on the Eagles. I got faith in Saquon, my fantasy RB1. Why not? This is what it's all about. I mean, yeah, give me the Eagles.
You actually have 8 games on me, by the way.
Slam the Eagles. Slamming it down right now. Why not? I think they could get the job done. I'm not impressed by Cincinnati. As I said, I think that they've put too much faith in Joe Burrow, who's great, don't get me wrong, but they have problems otherwhere. I like that the defensive line still got healthy, but I don't trust in this defense. I don't necessarily trust in Philly's defense because I know that it's banged up, but at the very core, I think the run game is the most important thing to establish, and I think Philly's run game is better. Give me that run game.
I'm back and forth, but I think I do like Philly in this game because if they can't get the run game going, they're going to try to go with the pass game. And the pass game struggled a lot in that game against the Giants. Devontae Smith did not do well. A.J. Brown had a pretty good game, but, I mean, they couldn't get anything going. You know, the run game was the big key in that game. But I think that if Cincinnati finds a way to stop the run game, then Philly's going to have to try to find a way to get the pass game going, and I like the edge for them in that game. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be a very fun matchup. But, yeah, I think I'm taking Philly. That pains me, but I'm taking Philly in that game.
All right, I'm lone wolf in the Joe Burrow and the Bengals right now. I did not expect that. But, guys, we got about, I think, like 7 or 8 games left here, and I'm running low on time, so if we could just zoom through a few of these real quick. We have the Jets heading to New England. Jets in desperation mode. Patriots pretty down bad. What do we got?
If the Jets don't win this one, just throw the season and Aaron Rodgers completely out of the city. You absolutely need to win this one. I'm rocking with the Jets.
Yeah, I agree. Give me the Jets.
If the Jets don't win this game, I will jump off the Brooklyn Bridge.
Coming to a new team? New team?
No, I will jump off the Brooklyn Bridge. There will be no team for me to go to.
I'll make sure that the Jets organization sends 6 pallbearers to let you down one last time.
All right, Atlanta at Tampa Bay for first place in the NFC South. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I know they have the wide receiver injuries, but I don't think the Falcons are sweeping the Buccaneers. I'm putting my faith in Baker. I'm putting my faith in Todd Bowles. I think they find a way to get a win at home against a Falcons team that had a really tough loss last week.
I want you to be right. They're my default team right now. I love Tampa. I love Baker. I keep going against them, and I'm hoping that they prove me wrong like they did that Detroit week. But once again, you got to go. I think I got to go with the healthier team just based off of who's going to be on the field, for crying out loud. You got the entire passing game. You got Bijan Robinson. As much as I want to take Tampa and want to love them, I'm rocking with Atlanta.
I like the Buccaneers pick because Baker is also my quarterback, but I got to roll with Atlanta. I don't think Tampa is going to be, completely done for the year. I think it's just going to take a little bit for them to find, a reliable weapon for Baker to go to with these injuries, and I think Atlanta's going to bounce back after a tough loss against Seattle.
All right, Arizona at Miami. Tua Tagovailoa's first game back will be against the Cardinals at home. Guys, I think I'm rocking Miami there.
Give me the Cardinals. I've been impressed. I've been impressed by Kyler. I'm afraid to see Tua play, to be honest with you. I hope he's okay. I hope that they look good, just for Miami's sake. But I think that Kyler Murray showed some resiliency last night, made some good plays. Definitely can get it done in that dual threat. And him and Marv are still building upon that relationship. I think it's going to get better. I think this is going to be an ugly game. And I think that Kyler Murray's legs are going to make the difference. Give me the Cardinals.
I think it's going to be an ugly game that can go either way, but I think Tua being back is going to elevate some of those other players like Tyreek, Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, and I like Miami in a close game.
I think Miami is going to be coming back to form a little bit, and I don't think the Cardinals defense will have enough to stop them, but we'll see.
They need to they need to get a win one of these games coming up here, so
definitely.
This is the spot for them to get back.
All right, Buffalo flying out to the Pacific Northwest to face the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks coming off a big win against Atlanta this past weekend, but Buffalo, one of the best teams in football right now. I'm rocking with Josh Allen and the Bills.
He's got his new shiny weapon in Amari Cooper. You know, I mean, you got the hood ornament now on the Rolls Royce, and they are going to be dangerous. It's just going to completely overhaul this team. It's going to get better each week. No reason not to rock with the Bills. And I'm pretty sure Josh Allen still hasn't thrown an interception yet, if I'm not mistaken.
No turnovers.
Amazing. He might be the MVP.
For me, he's right below Lamar.
Give me Buffalo. They're going to get better each week. Like you said, with Amari Cooper, Keon Coleman is going to get better each week. I think bringing in Amari Cooper was great for him, as well it was for the entire team. So give me Buffalo. I think they're just going to continue to improve after this move.
All right, the New Orleans Saints out to Los Angeles to play the Chargers. This is a tough one because both teams are the Saints are really banged up. The Chargers have some injuries across the roster here and there, but Chargers are definitely healthier. Have Justin Herbert. Give me the Chargers.
Well, dude, they just brought in Montez Valdez-Scantling over with the Saints. That's going to overhaul everything. It's going to fix everything for never. That's never. What are they thinking? I mean, dude, you got to make bigger moves if you're going to make moves.
They needed bodies.
They're half-stepping.
They needed bodies at receiver. You know what I mean?
Okay, sure. But they're half-stepping. It ain't fixing nothing. The Chargers are winning this one.
Yep, give me LA.
All right. Kansas City out to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. First divisional matchup of the year for the Chargers. No, they beat for the Chiefs, but just kidding. They beat the Chargers. They got the Raiders on deck. I think we're all rocking with the Chiefs, right?
I'm rocking with my man Antonio Pierce to get the job done, though, with my soul.
You're joking. Oh, okay.
With my soul. With your soul. In my heart. I'm rooting for him.
Do it with your pick, too, man.
I just took the Cardinals. You want me to roll the dice again? Are you kidding me? I'm helping you out over here.
Give me the Chiefs. I wouldn't be surprised if it's close. I mean, you can't count out Antonio Pierce against the Chiefs. Look at what they did on Christmas. I think it's going to be a blowout, but wouldn't surprise me if somehow it's close. But give me the Chiefs.
I think
they don't have the quarterback play.
Chiefs defense is good enough right now where they're going
to win a chip.
Yeah, for sure. And then the offense is going to do enough to get the win.
Yeah. No. That defense is elite.
Panthers out to Denver to face the Broncos. Carolina, one of the worst teams in the league right now, unfortunately.
Not even a question.
Yeah. Denver's playing a really good brand of football right now, I'd say.
Dude, they got the mile-high advantage. It's going to be tough to breathe up there. Give me the Broncos.
It's a gross matchup. Give me the Broncos, though.
Yeah.
Gross game to watch.
Yeah, this one will not be watched Sunday afternoon, for sure. Chicago at Washington. It was supposed to be the number 1 pick versus the number 2 pick. We're not 100% sure if Jaden Daniels is playing yet, so I will grant a reserve the right to change the pick throughout the week. But I think right now, I'm leaning Washington. Even if Mariota plays, I think they're playing better right now than the Bears. Yeah.
Chicago. Caleb Williams getting better each week. They still have a nasty defense. They still have their main guys rocking. Not really much injuries that they're dealing with. And you're taking off this star gem out of the show. It's absolutely, no matter how well they're playing, when your starting quarterback doesn't play, it's always faulty. It's not going to be as smooth. If Jaden Daniels plays, I want to reserve the right to switch back over. But if he's not playing, I'm rocking with the Bears. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, I like Chicago coming off a bye week with the injury to Jaden Daniels. You know, it's all up in the air right now, but I think Chicago, like you just said, Mazz, they're getting better each and every week. And Caleb Williams is, starting to come to form. Give me Chicago.
You know what? Even if Jaden Daniels plays, gives me Chicago. I'll lock that in right now.
Okay. I'm reserving the right to switch up.
Yep.
Sunday Night Football. All right, Mr. 8-game lead, relax. Wouldn't give me one.
Why would you get the game that I deserved as well? Because you put down all you had to do was give the courtesy. Maybe if you were a little more considerate, you would have got it, all right?
Oh, my goodness. All right, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
We got Dallas at San Fran for Sunday Night Football. Give me San Francisco. I know they're banged up right now, but just the better coached team, better defense. Give me the Niners.
God, I said I wasn't going to do this. I said I wasn't going to believe. I wasn't going to fall into the trap. But then the injuries just started piling up, Charlito. And we're coming off a bye week. I mean, this has to go the Cowboys' way, right? This is the test. This is the test on whether or not I completely jump off the cliff in faith or belief in this team. I'm dangling. I don't know why I'm doing it. Give me the boys. I wouldn't be surprised if they get absolutely destroyed, but strictly due to injuries, I think I got to rock with the Cowboys just because that offense is in a better situation, and I can't believe we're saying that right now.
No, give me the Niners. Are you playing or not? I mean, I think the 49ers offense is still going to find a way to get it done. I think it could be a close game, honestly.
Debo apparently has got an illness he's battling right now, so even if he is back, he's not going to be 100%. George Kittle's a little banged up. Jawan Jennings, banged up. Yeah, they're getting Parasol back, but... Dude, he just got shot for crying out loud. I don't even know what's going to happen with that. You know, so nice to see him back on the field, though, so that's going to be awesome to see. But, dude, I mean, come on. The Cowboys got to do this, right? They have to.
You'd think they would have to, but they got to prove something. They got to prove something, but give me the Niners.
All right.
Can't pick the Cowboys until they prove something.
Yeah. And then the last game of the slate of this next weekend, the Giants head to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. Interesting that the Jets were there last week and now the Giants are there this week. Give me Pittsburgh.
Back-to-back wins against New York, baby. We're rocking with the Steelers. It's not even a question. The Giants are nowhere near as good as the Jets should be, and I'm sorry. I know they got a great defense going on there, but they don't have the offense. That defense at Pittsburgh's nasty. Russell Wilson's just getting started. It's going to be a beatdown again in Pittsburgh.
I can't even make an argument. If I want to pick the Giants, I can't even make an argument. Especially with Daniel Jones still being the starter, he's not getting the job done. It doesn't matter. Now, T.J. Watt, Andrew Thomas being out, the offensive line has been looking good this year. You know, they looked really bad against Philadelphia with losing Andrew Thomas, and T.J. Watt going to have his way against this whole line. And give me the Steelers. It's going to be an ugly one.
Well, Charlie, I know you got to get going. Just one last thing here. Billy, giant Yankees fan, World Series starting on Friday. Dodgers, Yankees. Give me a final prediction for the series. Who you rocking with your brain, not your heart. What's that series going to?
7.
7 games. Wow.
Who wins?
7. Yankees at 7.
Yankees at 7.
Can't pick against them. I think the Dodgers bullpen has had a lot of problems. They gave up a lot of runs to the Mets, and there was a lot of blowouts in that game. But I am scared of the Dodgers offense. I think our bullpen has been playing well, but I mean, the Dodgers offense can do whatever they want to whoever they want, and the Yankees just gotta hope their guys show up. They had a lot of struggles in the postseason. They had guys step up when it mattered most, and you just gotta continue to keep that rolling and hope that that Judge starts to come through in a big way.
Yeah, let's go Yankees. Fuck the Dodgers.
Dude, that was a double kick in the nuts, huh?
Very excited.
Sunday night
team back in the World Series.
Sunday night was the worst night ever, man. I can't even begin to describe to you guys. And also, Billy, let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks tonight.
Let's go Knicks. Opening night tonight. Very excited.
The first time since Charlie Ward and Stan Van Gundy that the Knicks have had the same head coach, point guard, starting combination for 3 seasons straight.
I did see that today too. And next Monday, I think that the sports equinox with the baseball, football, hockey, basketball, everything like that, I gotta watch the Giants, which are going on my laptop. The Knicks are going on my small TV, and the Yankees will be on the big TV for next Monday night.
Let's go, man. We're going to the Octo Box, Scott Hansen style.
How I have it every week. Every week. Mazz has been there every week. You're more than welcome to come whenever. We got a good setup going.
Heard you, man. Heard you.
It's absolutely a blast. Billy, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for supporting not only this show, but supporting me on my journey in sports broadcasting, brother. I absolutely love you, and thank you for coming on, and thank you for your support. One last thing here. Congratulations to the Liberty and our man John Edmond getting the job done. The first time ever New York Liberty WNBA champions. That was awesome to see on Sunday as well. And you might just catch me and Billy at that parade, baby.
New York has a champion. It was good to have an entire friend group come together to root for a team, since everybody in our friend group especially is very diverse with their sports teams. Seeing us all come together for the Liberty, it was a nice thing to see.
It's literally the only team we agree on.
Say go New York, go New York, go.
Go New York.
Appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a blessing to watch you guys' journey, and I'm glad to be on the show.
Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, Charlie, I appreciate it, Mazz.
Al Gasol episode in the books.
You have been listening to the Mazz and Bad Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.